Hi, my name is Ben Ignalino, and I am a product director of SIBA here in Tucson, Arizona at National Community Health Partners. My submission for the storytelling track will be focused on a experience that I had working with a young man during one of our large-scale community events, which was a talent show. This abstract, titled Act 1, sharing culture through performance art, really speaks to what happened that night at the talent show in San Diego, California. A little bit of the background. We were given an opportunity to put on a large scale event, and so a back to school themed talent show was put into play. So volunteers and staff came together and creatively curated talent from all over San Diego. Gay, bisexual, same gender loving men of color were allowed an opportunity to express themselves and their culture. And so we had singers, we had artists that were photographers, fashion designers, and poets. And so one particular act was a singer. And with this young man, he knew, just like everyone else, that you had to submit your music at least 2 days before so that the sound and audiovisual person could actually put it in order for that night. And as I began to walk onto stage, this gentleman, this young man, pulled on me, right? And he said, Ben, I don't want to sing the song that I wanted to sing originally. And I just looked at him and I said, no, you're not allowed to do that. You're about to go up. And you could hear the crickets at the outside of everyone waiting for me to get on stage to introduce the next act because the other one had left. And he begged and he said, please, I don't need a soundtrack. I don't need a backing. I will sing a cappella. And I said, oh, goodness, please help him. See, I knew he could sing, but I don't know how you could sing or how you sound when you don't actually have a backup. Um, but I did. I let him have his moment and I said, hey, we can do this. And so I introduced the young man on stage and I'd let everyone know he was going to sing a cappella. Everyone smiled, and the anticipation in the room was growing because they didn't know what song he was going to sing. He walks on stage, he thanks everyone, and he says, this is for you, grandmother. Backstory, his grandmother had just passed a couple days ago, and I had known that. And so had some of the other individuals in the audience who were his friends. And so I said, oh, well, it's going to get very real. And so when he started singing, he opened his mouth and he said words to a song I've never heard. They read, southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. I was stunned because I knew that people were like leaning in because some of them had known that song. I was not one of them. But then he continued. He said, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from poplar trees. And I just saw people starting to cry, and I'm looking around. I'm like, what is this song? This is not a song I've ever heard. He gets to the very end of his song and he has a standing ovation after he holds that one last note. I meet him in the back and I ask him, like, one, you did great, but two, what song was that? And he's like, that's a song that we grew up listening to. Mind you, this young man was from the South and was in the military specifically to get out of the South. And he said, that is a song my grandmother used to sing to us growing up. And so that's why I sung it. There are many things passed on to us from previous generations, from our families, the things that we learn. Whether chosen or blood related, we learn about who we are and our culture from those that we respect, we value, and that we love. His grandmother passed on to him a gift that I did not know at the time would even be a gift for me and everyone in that room. To remember where things were and to remember where we came from and to see exactly people for who they are. I understood him a little bit better because of that moment, and people from that moment understood how they wanted to go forward. Um, we never really talk about anything about interventions, about how culture plays a big part of how these people that we say are priority populations engage. We just say recruit them. This works, science shows it. But we forget about the human piece, the piece that brings people together to build community. This talent show, like many other programs that are in this country, funded by the CDC or other federal agencies, I challenge them to always remember that in order for their programs to be successful, culture has to be infused in some form, or you're just an out of the box intervention with no flavor. I hope that was helpful for you, and I hope that you liked my story. I was able to live through a lot of other stories with a lot of other young people of color in the 12 years that I was at that program and in that agency. And I hope you enjoyed it. Uh, so thank you for your time, your review, and I hope you and wish you the very best today.